And, consumers are becoming much more data savvy, when they share their data, and a lot of these brands, you're asking for more and more data of a consumer. And what's the value exchange? Yeah, the consumer is expecting something in return.
Hello and welcome to the Retail Podcast. Now, as you know, I go to most of the conferences around the world, and I've seen the Klaviyo booth probably in most of the conferences I've been around the world. And when I had an opportunity to speak to Ben Jackson, the MD for EMEA, I thought what a great opportunity to unpack one of the topical, problematic, one of the issues that still in retail can be divisive in marketing departments in how they address and communicate with their customers. And so, Ben, hello, how are you?
Yeah, really good. Thanks, Alex, for inviting me on. Really,
it's an absolute pleasure. Where I presume you're in the UK. Where in the world are you?
I'm in London at the moment.
Okay. Whereabouts are the Klaviyo offices?
They are on Leadenhall Street, very close to Aldgate.
Yeah, very nice. Nice part of the city. So listen, I'm going to get straight into this, Ben, because I think there's a lot of people who feel that they've made their minds up on email and are still treating email like it's 2015. But you, via your own channels, Klaviyo's own channels, that you've shown that they're just not alive, they're sort of outperforming. And so there's this whole perception versus reality, I think. I mean, I'm not an expert in this field. I have to caveat, I am not an expert. But I'm just curious on your thoughts on where the smart retailers are putting their energy when it comes to customer connections.
Yeah, there's some people out there in the market that are saying email's dead as a channel. I would disagree with that. What we're seeing with our clients, if it's done right, they're driving a lot of revenue through the channel. One of the things that is really important. It's not the only channel, yeah? And so what we're seeing is that the ones that are doing their communications well are actually, firstly, they're asking their consumers what channels they prefer. So could it be, email? Could it be SMS? Could it be WhatsApp? Yeah. And so there's a consumer preference out there that you need to think about. And then using the data that they're collecting to actually personalize. And that's not a new thing, yeah? We've been talking about personalization in email for probably, for the last 10 years, yeah? And a lot of companies out there are promising, or a lot of technology companies are promising that they can do these things. But often you see organizations, they bring on a new piece of technology on the promise that they can personalize and get better ROI through an email channel. Yet you look at what they're doing 5 years later and they're still doing the same thing. They're still doing the same welcome programs. They're still doing the same abandoned basket programs, and nothing's changed.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important. And it's not especially the technology that's holding them back. Often it's the process, the internal users, the content that they need to drive personalization. But if you give tools that are easy to use for the marketers or the CRM departments, that's when they can actually change what they're doing. Yeah. If it doesn't take them long to do a new segmentation, if it doesn't take them long to kind of bring in new content, and they can execute innovative campaigns quickly, it means they can change the way they're using the channel. Yeah.
I got you. So the next question is really curious. When I talk and when I speak to my US counterparts, it sometimes feels that there's a sort of a different culture. So you can't really cut and paste what's working in the US to Europe. And in terms of life cycle marketing, I'm just curious on your personal opinion, maybe, who do you see getting it right in terms of the approaches that we have here in Europe, or UK and Europe, and in the US?
Yeah, and I don't think you can even blanket Europe as the same market. So
yeah, fair enough.
I don't think you can consider it as this is the way things are done in Europe, this is the way things are done in the US, because what we're finding is it varies. Yeah? And so Klaviyo, we work with very small customers. So what we call entrepreneurs, that are typically pure e-com brands that have great products, are growing fast, but are like 2 to 10 people, within the organization, all the way up to some, really big organizations, global kind of enterprises. And the challenge that those global enterprises face is that, they're marketing across many different countries within Europe. Yeah. We're seeing trends. And again, we talked about channel preference. Yeah. Email, SMS, RCS, WhatsApp. And that varies country by country. Yeah. So, you would look at Germany. One, it's harder to collect data in somewhere like Germany. You need double opt-in, and the barrier to kind of acquire data is much higher. But they just don't use SMS as a marketing channel. Yeah, it's email, and then more recently, WhatsApp is a popular channel in Germany. Whereas in the Scandinavian countries, SMS is actually driving a lot of revenue for e-com brands. So just the channel changes country by country, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always like with the US, when I say, let's send the WhatsApp, and then going, well, why do you want a WhatsApp? Why can't we FaceTime or something? And I'm like, yeah, okay, all right. Okay.
Well, take that to Asia Pac as well. And then you can become, you get into a whole bunch of, different channels as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you make an interesting point that in terms of going back to the conversation why email isn't necessarily dead, a lot of startups or young companies, young brands, the reason why they excel, the reason why they became so brilliant is because of their communities. It's the engagement of the communities. And I think, those channels to talk to your community as you grow is incredible. And so it's a minefield as you then decide to expand across Europe or the world on which channel to use where. So everyone's talking about AI right now, and most brands are just using it to send some more, not necessarily send better, although they would argue that they are. How are the best sort of game making automation systems, AIs, I don't know, whatever the term is, in building relationships with these communities and customers? And where do you draw the line? Because again, depending on who you talk to, some of the platform providers are saying, it's a scale thing. AI helps you with scale. And it probably, again, does both. Or AI helps you to be unique, right, in terms of sending that relevant data point to your customers. So what do you think? Where's the best place to use AI, or how are you guys using AI within Klaviyo?
Yeah. Some people come to me and say, well, what's your AI product? Yeah. There's no one, there's no one AI product. Yeah. Klaviyo really sees it as an opportunity to enhance what our customers are doing throughout the platform. And so using, there's not an AI module within Klaviyo. We're starting to implement AI throughout the platform. So whether that be, we talked about channel, preference or channel affinity, it's choosing the right channel at the right time with the right message to send to your customers. It's within our data platform as well. So the models that we're building out for customers are automatically built out within the data platform. The really interesting thing and one of our key advantages is because we have such a strong data platform, and it's not especially AI, but AI is driven by the data you give it. And Klaviyo was started as a data company, funnily enough. It wasn't started as an email company back in 2012.
Right.
We built this really strong data platform, and then we started to build the channels on top of it. Yeah. And one of the very early integrations was the Shopify integration. So we're bringing in a lot of the Shopify, a lot of the commerce data to the platform. But another strength that it has is we have over 400 integrations with other applications. So we're bringing all of that data into the one platform. And so, using all of that data and having it all in one place really gives our customers the advantage to kind of build intelligence within every interaction that they have. And then a lot of the customers that we come across, or prospects that we come across, are using different technologies for each one of the channels they use. But that means the data's siloed, yeah? And typically those channel vendors, they will want to promote their channel. So it'll be like, well, you want to send more SMS or you want to send more email. And that's not what we're trying to do with our customers, or that's not what consumers want, yeah? And so to have it all in one place really allows you just to decide what is the best communication frequency or channel to use. And so it's not about sending more, it's about sending maybe even less, but more relevant, and in the way that consumers expect to have it.
So it's interesting. Is it by proxy the fact that I'm going through the Klaviyo system solution that my data then becomes in a shape that I can, extract data that's relevant to my campaigns? It's like the data model that you say, this is the data sources that we need, or are you referring, because obviously the one complaint or the one thing I hear a lot at conferences, we're swimming in first party data. We have so much data that probably they're not extracting the most from. So I guess two questions here. Is it the fact that if I come to Klaviyo, that it's like I have to tidy up my house before I turn up and give you my data to be able to do the campaigns in some shape? Or is it the fact that you make it easy? I don't know. Just talk me through that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned the size of companies we're dealing with, and so at the smaller end, the platform is very much out of the box. So let's say I'm a Shopify commerce user. I'm a smaller company. It's literally, a very simple integration to get that data over, and it's quite structured because we really understand those platforms, and we understand what data you need for your CRM as well. Yeah. But the advantage is we can bring a lot of that data over, But the flexibility of the platform, let's say, we're dealing with a bigger organization that actually has a custom commerce store, we can integrate that data in there as well.
Got you. So where are people getting it wrong? Where do you feel retailers are making, or what are the mistakes you've observed them making when it comes to their data?
Yeah, I think it's the ability to act on it internally a lot of the time. Yeah, a really good example was a footwear manufacturer that we're dealing with. Unfortunately, I can't give you the name, but we've given them great tools. We've got great data coming into the platform, but if you really want to start personalizing your communications, you need other aspects like content to actually drive that personalization. If you can't get the rest of the organization to be dynamic, it becomes very hard to be able to do that, because you don't have the relevant content to ship out to, or to communicate to your customers. So the rest of the organization has to come along with it as well.
I got you. If we zoom out now, obviously time's flying by, as I knew it would do. I'm a CMO. I'm a CMO of, let's say, one of your typical type customers. So not necessarily a small company, a mid-sized enterprise, a healthy retailer. I'm a CMO of a healthy retailer. What do you see, or what are the signals that you're seeing, are the shifts that are coming in CRM that you think will catch people off guard? Because obviously you do this day in, day out. You must be seeing these sort of echoes of trends coming in. What do you think are going to catch most people out?
Yeah, I think, and this isn't especially a today thing. It's been going on for a while now. It's the consumer expectation. Yeah. And, consumers are becoming much more data savvy. When they share their data, and a lot of these brands, you're asking for more and more data of a consumer. And what's the value exchange? Yeah, the consumer is expecting something in return. It could be a loyalty program, or it could be that they just expect a better service, a better personalization. Yeah. And so if I'm a consumer and I've shared those preferences or details about myself or details about what products I'm interested in, and you're collecting that data, but then you're not doing anything about it and you're not changing the consumer experience, that really turns consumers off. Yeah. So if you're collecting the data and you're not using it, and that's across the board. Yeah. It's not only on the site, but it's also the service element. If I'm not getting the same experiences, and if I'm, it's like, you call up the call center and you're asked for your details. But this happens with the bank often. Yeah. You're asked for the details and then you say, well, you're in the wrong department. Let me put you through to somebody else. you're asked for those details again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Online experience, the online expectation is even more extreme than that. Yeah. I'm not expecting to have to share my details more than once. Yeah. But then if I have a problem and I, go to the service center and I ask for my details again, and then the next day I get a promotion. Yeah. That consumer experience is really bad. And that's because the CMO or the organization is not joining up the experiences. And that's one of the reasons why Klaviyo very recently launched the service aspect. So we launched a product called Customer Hub, which is like a self-service application that our customers can layer on top of their commerce experiences. And then we've just gone into beta with an AI agent that will automate that for brands small and large. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I know you said it was a final question, but I'm always curious because I'm not an expert in this field. Is there a question that I should have asked you and I didn't? Or is there a question that people normally ask and that I have just totally sort of not asked?
Yeah, I think a question that we often ask ourselves, you nearly asked it, I think, is what is holding what if I'm a CMO, what is holding me back from actually delivering those experiences?
Okay.
Are you going to ask it?
No, tell me. Well, what is it? What's the thing? I'm like, you've got me. I'm stuck in. What is that one thing?
Well, and I think everybody knows that consumers expect this experience, yeah. And so you might ask yourself, well, why can't every brand that I'm dealing with deliver the same experience? And I truly believe it's actually the technology that's been available up until recently just hasn't been able to offer that experience. And there's a whole bunch of very large marketing platforms out there. Yeah. And what these large companies tend to do is they build their customer experience platforms through acquisition. And so they're not actually solving the problem. They're perpetuating the problem in a way. They're creating data silos across the organization. And I think that's what's holding a lot of these brands back. And so, if you can create that seamless experience across the different channels, not only the CRM channels, but the commerce channels, and get all of those systems talking really well together, I think that is the key that unlocks the experience that people are expecting.
Fantastic note to finish on. Ben, thank you so much for giving up your time. Really opened my eyes, obviously, and I almost got it right. So I'll take the, 4 out of 5 stars that you'll leave as feedback on my questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Good.